Good morning, Enid. It is Thursday, November 2nd, and it's just gorgeous out this morning. A little dark, but if you stand up and look up at the just beautiful sky, you can see the Big Dipper and everything else. Nice, clear blue sky or dark blue sky and 54 degrees. I'm Steve Keim, and just join us here for the next 30 minutes and grab a cup of coffee because we've got news, weather, and sports for you. And we have a special theme that we're going to share with you later on this morning about adoption. Good morning, Sarah Del Angel.
Good morning, Steve. Hello, I'm Sarah Del Angel. We are coming to you live in over 14,000 homes here in Enid and live streaming around the globe via the internet. This is Good Morning Enid.
And it's time to rise and shine.
Out on the farm, it's wide open space, it's clear, you can see all the bright.
Oklahoma received a real ID extension through June 2017.
Yes, friendly competition, and we won. The City of Enid won.
You'll just want to show up at 4:30, but we do encourage you to purchase a
A ton of stuff going on here at the Central National Bank Center. Come on down.
Just send us an email, and we'll be happy to share.
Hello.
Hey, Derek. Good morning.
Yes, sir.
It's Thursday again. You know what that means?
Yes, sir.
It's time to rise and shine.
I'm on my way.
Good morning, Jamara.
Good morning. I'm on my way.
Good morning, Brooke.
Good morning. I'm on my way.
I'm on my way. It's 7:31. Thank you again for joining us here. Good morning, Enid, on this Thursday. We made it to November, and it's just amazing how quick things go. Let's take a look at the bus stop forecast. As I mentioned earlier, it was around 54 degrees, and it's gone like 53, 54 back and forth, trying to make up its mind. But anyway, it's going to be a gorgeous day today, sunny, and 69, 70 degrees. However, the winds are going to shift and turn around to the north to kind of cool things off for tomorrow. But current statewide temps, if you're going to travel across the state today, you can see that if you go all the way down to Apple, Oklahoma, in the southeast part of the state, you can see right now how much warmer it is at 67 degrees. I've never been to Lost City, Oklahoma. Interesting. Penn finds it. This is such an educational program when we pull out Lost City, Oklahoma. Where are you from, Lost City? Interesting. So anyway, you can see it's 61, but bar is 49. Typical Oklahoma, big temperature difference across the state from west to east. Okay, missed 3-day forecast. It's time to break out the shorts. Your little one can go run out in the park because I think it's going to be nice for the weekend.
Yes, yes. Like I was telling you earlier, you get a week of cold and you miss the summer. So here's a little bit of that. We're going to be at 86 on Sunday, so it's going to be a little bit warmer this weekend. So a perfect weekend to go out and do things with your little ones, like you said.
Look at that temperature difference, 44 to 86, only in Oklahoma. 86 November, but we'll take it, that's for sure. Okay, it's 7:33. Let's take a look at the school menu for those little ones that are headed out to school today. And for Thursday, Sarah, what does Thursday look like?
We got some pulled pork sandwiches, celery sticks. Last time
wow,
we said,
butter.
yeah, there we go. Fresh carrots, pickles, pears, banana, and milk.
Okay. Help me out. What's chicken who?
Chicken taquitos.
Okay, what's taquitos? Help me out there.
I wouldn't, they're just really
And
good.
they're going to serve that to kids, and we don't
Yes.
even know what the name is. Okay. Anyway, we got chili and cheese, refried beans, breens.
Have a Mexican theme.
Broccoli and breens. There we go. That's beans, Steve. Pineapple tidbits and milk. They just put all these fancy names on just normal stuff. But anyway.
That is so true.
That's what they do. All right. As the morning moves along, good morning, Enid. We appreciate you joining us for show number 143. We're ending up our third year of our live television show, and thank you for being a part of that. And we always look forward to the bow tie guy, Derek Silas. He has the Oklahoma Minute, who provides us all the news and happenings that happened overnight.
Oklahoma received a real ID extension through June 2017. And Oklahoma natives and country music stars.
Yesterday, the left lane law went into effect. That is, do not impede the left lane. Of course, motorists can be in the left lane when overtaking and passing another vehicle or where traffic conditions and road configurations require left lane use. As of yesterday, Integris Bass Health Center will no longer offer neurosurgery services in Enid and have transferred all patients to Oklahoma City. Tomorrow, Oklahoma City will play the Boston Celtics at home. It will air on ESPN and Fox Sports Oklahoma at 8:30 p.m. But last night, Houston won its first World Series 5-1 against LA Dodgers. Sports. Also tomorrow, Tulsa will take on Memphis at 7 p.m. It will air on ESPN. And Saturday, the games everyone anticipates, Bedlam, where OU will take on OSU, will be in Stillwater at 3 p.m. It will air on Fox Sports 1. Here's a fun fact in Oklahoma. Oklahoma ranks 4th in the nation in the production of wheat, 4th in cattle and calf, 5th in the production of pecans, 6th in peanuts, and 8th in peaches. And on this day in history, 1983, a bill is signed by President Ronald Reagan designating a federal holiday honoring Martin Luther King Jr. And that's the Oklahoma Minute. Back to the round table.
Can we tell who's Derek for on the Saturday football game?
Mixed emotions.
Mixed emotions. he just can't make up his mind. He's got the bow tie and the OU shirt. Oh, well, house divided. Do you say pecans?
I say pecans, yes.
Yeah, pecans, pecans. I don't know. Either way, I love pecans. Boy,
Yes,
pecans are my favorite.
they are really good, actually.
Okay, enough of my food commentary. What's next, Sarah?
We want to hear from you. Please email us
That's right.
any questions, comments, pictures you want to share with us at gme@enid.org,
There's the
and we
cows.
can share with our viewers. This morning we have some pictures from AJ.
Speaking of cows,
Speaking of cows, yes, he had, I believe, twins born a week ago. So those are the pictures that you see up there. And then there's a third one that was born. So he has a total of 3, a set of twins, and then one calf that was born about a week ago. So
and word has it Bucky posed for that picture about 15, 20 minutes into his new life. So,
Oh, wow.
So he was still under warranty when he woke up to a new world and took that picture. So anyway, it's kind of like waking up first thing in the morning, somebody wanting to take your picture. You're not quite there. I think that was Bucky. He just wasn't quite there.
He did really good, though. He did
did.
really good. Like we mentioned earlier, we have a great weekend ahead of us with weather. So make sure that you plan for this weekend. And here to tell us a little bit about what's coming up is Brooke.
You'll just want to show up at 4:30, but we do encourage you to purchase a ticket because there won't be that many contestants. Good morning and happy fall. This November, we have several events right here at the Central National Bank Center. On November 10th, we have Rodney Carrington returning right here at 7 p.m. Tickets are still available. He just turned 49 last month at the end of October. And back in 2006, he actually lived in Oklahoma in Tulsa. So that's a little fun information about Rodney Carrington, who will be here returning again right here at the CMB Center on November 10th, 7 p.m. You don't want to miss that event. Come up here to the second floor of the Convention Center, just around the corner, to get your tickets. I'm also standing right outside the Nick Vinson Memorial Ballroom. We're really excited to have this great ballroom right here for several banquets and events. And speaking of banquets, next we have the Taste of St. Joe's annual fundraiser. This year, it's Ante Up for St. Joe's on November 11th. You can find out more information on our website or theirs. We also have the Disaster Release Seminar on November 15th, and that's going to be right here in the Benson Ballroom. And looking forward into December, to round out the year, we have Sesame Street Live, we have Mannheim Steamroller, and we have Mark Lowry Christmas. For a full list of all of our upcoming events and to see what we have in 2018, visit our website, cmbcenter.com. Thanks, and back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Brooke. Holding steady at 54 degrees, working our way up to a very pleasant 70 degrees today. And for our pilots that are watching, right now our winds are out of the south around 11, but later on this afternoon they will shift and be out of the north today. 7:39, we need to talk about Friday Night Lights. 10th game of the season in high school, and it's the end of the season for many teams. And Putnam City, the Pirates, come to town Friday night at Selby Stadium to take on the Enid Plainsmen at 7 o'clock. And let's see, you were a big OBA fan, wasn't you?
Yes,
You knew
yes,
some
I
people
was.
going to that school.
Yes.
Is OBA on there? I'm not sure.
I don't see OBA,
Yeah.
but
And
I do see Pioneer. I do see Pioneer, so
Okay.
this week I'll go for Pioneer.
Okay, so anyway, 10th game of the year. It's very important to some to stay, they got to win to stay in the running for playoffs, and some of them are just ending their season. And the Pahuska Huskies come to my hometown of Perry, Oklahoma. So anyway, that's Friday Night Lights. It's 7:40. We need to move into our interview segment. And November is National Adoption Month. And so dear friends of mine that I've known for a number of years in Tulsa, Dr. Jerry Dillon and Deniese Dillon, they have an organization called Dillon International. And their focus is on international adoptions. It's very, very impressive. And they came over from Tulsa here to the Enid Television studios a week or so ago. And we sat down and we talked all about adoption and National Adoption Month and International Adoption. So we're going to take about 10, 12 minutes of that interview and play that for you right now. So November is National Adoption Month. And based on your 45 years, and either one of you can respond to this. So based on your 45 years, 45 years, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Why is adoption so important? Either one can take that.
Well, I would say that adoption has been a part of our culture for a long time, but even globally, adoption, as we know, is even in the Bible, that we know that was a form of giving a child a family and giving a child a name. And as we have, of course, all the years of research and experience, we know how important it is for any child to have that closeness, have that instruction, have that love, have that inclusiveness to belong somewhere and to have a heritage and to be proud of who he is, or who she is, and to have the support of mom and dad and brothers and sisters, if that might be.
I see. I was first introduced to Dillon International 12 to 15 years ago. And so, Jerry, this is kind of my question. I'll just steer it towards you. Go back 45 years ago. Why did you start Dillon International?
Wow. It was certainly not something we'd ever planned on doing. But I do know and did know that we both lost some very incredible fathers in our lives when we were young. So the father wound was a real, and still is this very moment. Every child should have a loving father. Both of us had incredible loving mothers. So we were both blessed and very close to our mothers, and they both passed in their 90s. My mother was born in a wagon train in Indian Territory, 1898. And so to hear the stories about my roots as a family, and I'm one of 6 boys. Our father died in 1946. I was 5, fifth of 6. So I knew that I had a loving, godly father who worked hard and provided. And I knew he and my mother did have a wonderful marriage. And when he died because of a wound and an illness that followed working in the oil fields, I observed my mother, incredible mother with my grandmother, and how they were loved by our church and the community, little town of Yale. And so I grew up in a very safe, loving environment, never felt like I was an orphan, didn't feel like my mother was a widow, but the truth is that we were. So we became sensitive in our dating time of 2 years. I wanted a father so bad that I expected to get in marriage. And I was hesitant to marry because I wasn't going to get that. And when I realized that my wife and I both have a deep felt love with our Heavenly Father, that relaxed that issue. So the adoption work became a very natural thing for us back in 1971 at a Rotary Club meeting. The Adjutant General, Oklahoma National Guard, was speaking on what had happened in Korea 20 years earlier. And that during that time they started 26 orphanages. So my curiosity, 20 years later, what's been going on with those orphanages? And as he shared with me, his name was Bob Morgan, Adjutant General, still well known in the state capitol and in his son lobbying work. So Deniese and I began pursuing what's going on with those lives of the children who are 18 and leave the orphanages. So one day I went home and shared with her about that, and we had just started our group home business. And she said, "You want to do what? Where?" Yeah. So that journey, you know, 8, 9, 10 months later, we were affirming, or God affirmed that that's a desire he gave us, and then gave us a confidence that we could pursue it. And he would provide favor in the areas that we needed it to get that accomplished.
When I was reading those numbers in your bio of the 20,000+ adoptions in 20 countries or something like that, when I say that, what does that do to you? I'm just amazed at that number.
Well, and part of those numbers include domestic adoptions in those countries.
And that's fine. It's still a big number.
Yes.
It's just amazing.
Yes, because when we began, we really were so naive. We thought that we could promote domestic adoptions in South Korea, and that if we maybe placed 100 children from South Korea, we could promote domestic adoptions in South Korea, and there would be no need for intercountry adoptions. We were so naive about that. 45 years later, domestic adoptions are going on in South Korea as they are in India and even China now. We see many domestic adoptions. But it took a long time for domestic adoption to become real.
And one thing that sets you aside from, say, other agencies, if I can just use that term agency, your emphasis is international, correct? It's been pretty much the international all that time. So let me ask you this, for the viewer that are watching, and they may not have a clue about adoption. Maybe they're thinking of adopting a child from, I don't know, say in Europe or something like that. Can you kind of talk us through the process? I'm sure there's numerous steps, but can you kind of ballpark what the process is like? If somebody comes to Dillon International and say, we're interested in adopting a child and prefer over in Europe. So how do you get going? How do they start?
Well, we have an extensive training time and a huge amount of information to share with families to help them understand about international adoption and to help them within their own marriage relationship to see if they really want international adoption or if domestic adoption is not what they need. Or foster care. We've found that sometimes families haven't really thought through it, and the more that we can give them information and share all kinds, we ask them questions, and it helps them decide what area of adoption they really are called to and what they want to pursue.
Let me interrupt you, Denise, I'm sorry. That just prompts a question to me. If a family's wanting to adopt, what is the difference in that family of wanting to adopt an international child versus domestic? I mean, they could adopt somebody down the street, I guess, versus around the globe. What is that difference in that
I think so many times families have come to us and they have felt called to a particular country.
Okay.
And I think of India in particular. Some families would say, we really feel that we should adopt from India, and then we want to know why. Is this just a whim, or they saw a movie they liked, or let's get down to it. Do you realize this child is going to have a dark skin, and this child is not going to look like you, and you're going to have questions asked you that may be inappropriate or they may be upsetting, and then we want to help them understand how to answer those to the benefit of the child that might be listening. So there are all kinds of training and thought process of how do we get to what country you're interested in, what country is appropriate for you.
Is there a ballpark figure of the amount of time that it takes to adopt an international child? Is it 12 months, 2 years, or is there a kind of a measuring, when you talk to a family, said, are you prepared for the next 2 years of going through all the steps that it's going to take? Is there
All of the above.
all of it? Okay.
Yes, because we've had one family who's just brought their little girl home from India. It took them 4 years to get her.
Oh, wow.
And she had disabilities, but the court system in India was very slow. But they wanted her so badly, they waited 4 years. So it depends on the child and what province they're in and what country they're in and what's going on.
But what would be the criteria? If there's a handful of criteria, what would be the perfect criteria for a family to adopt? They have certain income levels or what?
Denise answered this better, but initially we knew that we had never handled adoption work. So we employed Jenny Jo Swanson, who had just retired as head of child welfare for Tulsa. And she said, Jerry, I don't want to help you. I don't want those foreign kids coming here. We have enough problem with our own children. We said, that's exactly why we want you to help us to discern whether or not that family is really ready for a child from another culture. So she educated us over a 2-year period to begin that process that is sometimes very difficult. Has to do with why and who is prompting it within the couple. Is it initiated by their inability to have a child, or they may have 3 or 4, or with some families they may have 6 children and they still want to adopt. And why do they want to adopt from Haiti, or as Denise said, like from India? Why? So the motive behind it. One of the things that I really appreciate Denise and Jenny Jo coming to a decision on the home study process is because a family pays to have a home study, that doesn't mean they're going to be approved. That social worker has to have the total freedom to challenge that. And then she put together a decision-making process with other social workers. So it's not that single social worker making that decision. So it's a group process. Then we finally pray, not finally, but the final decision is, God, is this the right family for that child? One thing that separates us out from others, as I've observed, is that we don't find children for a family. We find a family for that child. That's we think, a wrong decision by a lot of adoption agencies. They go looking for a child for that family. And our ultimate responsibility is to that child that they have a permanent loving family.
Well, this has certainly been enlightening, just the brief conversation that we've had here about the criteria and the evaluation and all of that. It's just not a matter of, well, let's adopt. Let's go pull this off in the next 30 days, but it's really extensive. Thank you. Special thanks to Dr. Jerry and Denise Dillon. Their information is we can place on the screen right now if you want to reach out to them to find more information. And again, they've been doing this for 45 years, so they have it down to a science. Good folks, Dr. Jerry and Denise Dillon from Dillon International in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So that's their contact information. Our good buddy, our good friend that may be even watching this morning, George Bellman, our hero in many of our eyes, our World War II vet, has a message for everyone. You know, November 11 is coming up real quick, Sarah, Veterans Day, and we're going to be honoring, or the city, I should say, is honoring World War II vets in the Veterans Day Parade. So anyway, George has a message for all the World War II vets right now.
Hello, I'm George Bellman, United States Marine Corps veteran, and this message is for all World War II veterans. There will be a Veterans Day Parade in downtown Enid on Saturday, November the 11th. And I'm calling for all World War II vets to join me and be recognized in the parade. You answered the call to serve before, and I am respectfully asking you to join me this Veterans Day, November 11th. Please give me a call at 580-478-3034 and let me know of your decision. Thank you for your service and to our great country. And I hope to see you on November 11th, Veterans Day.
Thank you, George. And in case you missed it earlier, here is Derek with the Oklahoma Minute.
Yesterday, the left lane law went into effect. And also, as of yesterday, Integris Bass Health Center will no longer offer neurosurgery services in Enid. Tomorrow, Oklahoma City Thunder will play the Boston Celtics at home. It will air on ESPN and Fox Sports at 8:30 p.m. And Houston won its first World Series 5-1 against the LA Dodgers. And also tomorrow, Tulsa will take on Memphis at 7 p.m. It will air on ESPN. Saturday, Bedlam. OU will take on OSU in Stillwater at 3 p.m. It will air on Fox Sports 1. Fun fact, Oklahoma ranks 4th in the nation in the production of wheat, 4th in cattle and calf, 5th in pecans, 6th in peanuts, 8th in peaches. And on this day in 1983, a bill is signed by President Ronald Reagan designating a federal holiday honoring Martin Luther King Jr. And that's the Oklahoma Minute. Back to the round table.
Thank you, Derek. A quick reminder, we get to fall back over the weekend. Spring forward, fall back. It's that time of year, so we get an extra hour, Sarah, for the weekend.
Yay.
So anyway, keep that in mind, fall back for the weekend. At 8 o'clock this morning, if you're able to hang around, Captain of the U.S. Navy, Craig Vance, is our special guest. If you see there on the screen, had an opportunity to talk with Mr. Vance and highlighting veterans here in the Enid community. That's coming up at 8 o'clock. And the 3-day forecast looks warm, I believe.
Yes, in case you missed it, here is a quick second for you to check out the weather for this weekend. It's going to be a nice one.
Sure is. Okay, we need to bring Brooke back. Say that real quick. Bring Brooke back. We'll do that right now for Enid Entertainment.
This is where you can find me in my office on the 2nd floor of the convention building at the Central National Bank Center. I'm here if you need to book an event or if you're interested in partnering with us. For our next event, we have Rodney Carrington. He's returning here on Friday, November 10th at 7 p.m. And we do have tickets still available. The following evening, we have Ante Up for St. Joe's, the Taste of St. Joe's annual fundraiser. You can find out more information also on our website. We also have the Disaster Resilience Seminar on November 15th. That's right here on the 2nd floor as well. Now, you don't want to miss any of these great events this fall. And then looking into the winter in December, we have Sesame Street Live, Mannheim Steamroller, and we also have Mark Lowry Christmas. For a full list of all of our events, go to our website at cmbcenter.com. Thanks, and back to you in the studio.
Very good. Brooke, thank you very much. Good morning, Enid, here on this Thursday, November 2nd. Again, holding steady, 54 degrees, on our way to a very pleasant 70 degrees today. And I'd like to remind you, next Tuesday, we'll have the City Council meeting. At 5 o'clock, we'll have the study session. There will be a Call Lake Phase 2 or 3 update. I'm trying to remember which number. But anyway, that will take place in the study session. You'll want to watch that on Channel 12 and 112, Call Lake update. Then the council meeting gets underway at 6:30. Okay, one of our favorite segments, real quick. We've got to adopt a pet.
Yes.
Who's our special guest?
Steve Meet Maple. He is a shepherd mix, tiger striped in color, 6 months old, so just a baby. Costs cover spay and rabies shot. Prices may vary depending on the vet you choose, so you're looking at $95 to $125. Maple is very loving and playful, and a playful pup. She is curious and friendly and loves affection, and I think she goes for OSU as well. So if you're an OSU fan, this may be your dog.
This may be your dog if you're a Cowboy fan. Kind of looks, I'm not quite sure who Charlotte is rooting for this weekend. It's a little subliminal message there. So, but anyway, 249-4910 is the number to call. Maple needs a good home, OU or OSU or TU fan. Let's help Maple out, 249-4910. Sarah, 7:59, that means we got to say goodbye.
Yes.
Everybody make it a great day. Thanks for joining us.